To a snap down. I throw my partner back, I pull him straight down, I get his hand on the back. You have to focus on getting your front headlock and not going to your knees. See how my knees are off the mat here? This gives me good pressure on my partner's back. Because then we switch to that perpendicular angle. Our left leg goes in. You have to do it as he's extended. So you want his arms extended before you shoot your legs. And then we're here to chop the base. Notice that his arm is turned at an angle where it's almost like an Americana position. And then from here, I can start to find my little groove. Sometimes it's the toe, sometimes it's the heel, but I just gotta get my leg in there. Now from this position, when I lock with my right arm, I'm gonna look to take his back. So now I'm gonna tie our back system in with our auxiliary system. And I'll show you the importance of maintaining an uncontested strangle, right? So what we'll do is, we focus on curling our heel in, and then framing, if you notice, my left leg right over his back, like this. And I don't look at this as a roll, this is more as I'm not inverting at all, I'm simply falling to my shoulder. So I'm falling to my shoulder, kicking my left leg back, and that forces his hips over. One of the easiest things you'll ever do in jiu-jitsu. Oftentimes he'll have a top leg defensive, where he's turning his knee towards his chest. No problem, we'll just hook the toes on the inside of the ankle and extend. From here, we'll shoot our knee through and hide our heel through the hip. From here we can take our hook. Now notice that my bottom leg, take a shot at this, my right leg is actually not a hook. It would be unnecessary. The nature of just controlling his arm is going to prevent his hips from going flat to the mat. So if he goes to get his hips to the mat that way, it's really, really difficult to do. And again, from here, what do we have? An uncontested strangle, which is all we want, really. Our head's on the opposite side of the strangle arm. We walk our hand through. I'm going to get into more details about that now. And then we finish. So let's look at this though. He still has one measure of defense, right? That's his noggin. He's gonna be defending. So what I'll do is we'll start out with almost like a knife's edge with your 2 knuckles or your 4 knuckles. And we're gonna dig. And when we get under his chin, watch my fingers, right? Once I get under his chin, I extend my hand. So from now, for him to get his chin under my flat hand, it's impossible. So I dig, and then I go flat. And once we go flat, we walk, 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 until we can hide our hand. Now, even if he were in theory to free up this hand and reach for my choking hand, he would never have the ability to stop me from finishing. So again, here. Once I get here, relax your chin, up. Once I get here, I'm gonna pull my arm out, and I'm gonna shoot my hand directly behind his head and go for the finish. So on those details one more time. He has his chin down, natural thing. We dig the 2 knuckles, we extend the hand flat, and we crawl our hands across above the trap. We hide with our chin, and then we hide our hand behind our own hand, and from here we can get a guaranteed finish. Let's take it from the top, we'll do it from the standing position. We come out, we break the grip, we push and we pull. We lock onto our training partner, we hit the perpendicular angle, we take his base out. Now from this position, it's all about getting our foot inside and trapping. And we want to create an opportunity for us to take it back. How do we do it? It's pretty simple. I set the frame, don't hurt your little kid from there. I keep my right leg curled in, and I step over his back. From here, I'm going to start to drive my shoulder behind his head, and I'm really just taking a slow back step. I don't want him, I don't want to put this bottom hook in. Notice that my left leg is shielding so he can't roll to the far side. If you go to roll your hips to the far side, that's impossible to do. Extend the hook, chop. Let's say his chin's down, we knuckle in, we hand curl, we lock, and then we get our strangle from there. Let's see it one more time. Ties my head up. What do we do? First thing, inside. Push into him, get his hands on the mat, take his base out from under him, and then it's a matter of just getting that hook in. Once I have the hook, we're pretty good to go. It's a matter, it's a big detail. I have to get my knee to the ground, which locks his arm in position, and then I gotta shield his lower back. See, I keep my knee on his back. Do this because I don't want him to hop to the other side, which isn't the worst case scenario. If he does hop this way, in theory, like just roll like your back to the mat, hops over all the way this way, he ends up in the crucifix. So it's not the worst thing in the world, it's just not what I want. So, what we would like to do is have a scenario where now if I roll, right, if he tries to hop, my knee blocks him on that side. Then I can extend, hook, I'm already in on the choke, so we'll just finish from here. Boom. On 3 guys, 1, 2, 3. So now, similar concept, I'm gonna slide through Everything's the same as we just did, how we started the class, where I curl my leg, yep, here and here, everything's good. But this time I'm gonna attack knuckle line, I'm gonna go supine. Let's build on the supine idea, where I sit back, flat on my back, and I have control of my training partner's upper body and his forearm. I have armbar options here. I do have armbar options here, but the thing is, I need to find the right control, right? If I just try to, in theory, let's just say I try to like drive down his arm here, I might be able to get it, but he can move his head, right? Move your head around, right? Now, when you can move his head, he can usually move his arm, so not put your elbow up. See that? So our first goal when we go supine and we want an arm lock, is we control our training partner's face. So I'm gonna bring a cross face right under the cheekbone. I'm gonna go palm to palm, and I'm gonna squeeze his head tight to my head. As soon as I do that, now when he goes to move his head, obviously he can't move his head, and that takes away a certain degree of movement with his arm as well. From here, we have a raised fulcrum with our left knee. Notice my left knee is nice and tight to the armpit. Now when I start to find the sweet spot right around the wrist and bridge up, you get incredible breaking pressure in the elbow. So here, very good. And also from here, what I love about these positions is, again, they're interchangeable with our strangles. We go strangle, be stubborn, we go right back to our face lock, jiu-jitsu from there. Okay, let's try that out again. So we'll keep it simple. We won't even do the tilting thing that we did. We'll just have the guy start with the space in the elbow and the knee. Just in the interest of getting to the supine position, we come through, we attack, we sit back. Now from here, we lock on his face immediately. I would say look for the choke. Use your phoenix eye to get the arm in, but if you're having a hard time, face lock him right away. And lock him, keep him nice and close, head to head. Now it's all about getting that sweet spot where my calf is somewhere next to his wrist and my left knee is next to his armpit. See my left knee? It's a raised fulcrum. This means that whenever I raise my hips off the ground, I'm gonna find incredible breaking pressure. Now everything we do, we wanna increase our percentage of finishing, so we have to make sure everything's in place. In other words, if my left leg is somewhere by his elbow, let's say, I have a lowered fulcrum. See, I'm raising my hips all the way up, I'm getting very little pressure, see that? As soon as I move my knee into the proper position, right under his armpit, elbow will shatter, just like that. And again, it's interchangeable with everything else that we do. If you want to get a little old school, there's also forearm slicers. If I grab here, the break is not here. If I want to get real dirty and I have complete disrespect for his abilities, you take your arm out completely in the trap here. And now I gave up my underhook, which is a little insane, but if you think you can actually finish it, then it's something you can do. I rarely teach that anymore. Let's try it one last time. Sit through, I get a lock, I find my spot where I can sit back to the supine position. We immediately look for our strangle. We have an uncontested strangle, but he's stubborn, and even all of our little tricks aren't working. We're not gonna waste our energy and our time. So we go crossface, we keep his head nice and close to ours. We find the sweet spot with our right leg. We have a raised fulcrum with our left. We flare our hips, we get the break. In the event that most guys will go, one, he's controlling my head, two, he's hurting my arm. The natural reaction is to fight that, so he goes chin up, he's hurting me. And that's when we latch on, and we go straight to our strangle from here. We can also do a rotational strangle with one arm. So I'm just saying, it's very simple. One arm, we do one arm. And again, if we want to get old school, we can lock up on his wrist, hand, we can figure 4 our legs, go 2-on-1, and then flare our hips, and essentially just bring his forearm against your shin bone, and you get a quick finish. Okay guys? Let's try it on 3. 1, 2, 3.